Okay, last class we discussed about four-stroke engine control. So after discussion with each part of this the particular four-stroke with respect to uh, exhaust stroke, power stroke, compression stroke, and intake stroke. Every stroke acting as uh, one stroke there. That is one as intake, two as compression, three as power, and four as exhaust. That's why it's named as four stroke there. So now coming with the engine control. So after once the engine is get started the rotation and automatic has been aligned with some wheels and the cars start or a vehicle start movement. So in order to make the control where we control the engine automatically, the whole unit is going to be controlled there. Okay, so if there is something mismatch happen between or something acting between that engine, it's going to be lead with the accident. Okay, so for that, the engine control plays the important role. And if we define with the control of engine, the control of engine in any car means regulating the power that is, I mean, say that the control of engine in any car means regulating the power that it produce at any time of currents while driving. Okay. So driver controls engine power how? Via accelerator pedal, which in turn determines the setting of the total plate via mechanical linkage system. And the total plate is situated in intake system. The intake system is assembled with the pipes or a passageways and which air flows from outside into each cylinder. Then some movement of it's going to be happen. Then after that, the air following into the engine uh, flows the past with the throttle plate and which controls the amount of air being drawn into the engine, and the intake stroke is going to get controlled there. Okay, so based on this, here it's going to be act as uh, the regulated the power that produced in 80 times according with the driving needs. One is accelerator pedal, which means determining the shuttle of torque plate there. So which is nothing but determining the torque plate via mechanical system. And uh, this throttle plate is situated uh, uh, in intake system where it controls an assembly of pipes or pass away through the each cylinder. After that, the throttle plate and intake system plays important role to control whole amount of engine uh, during the stroke there. Okay, so after this, if you try to focus with this figure, see there is one air filter, we have one injection filter, and this is the throttle phase just now we discussed. Then there is one piston to make the movement. Um, here, the mixture of air and fuel is being composed to form ignition here before ignition. Okay, this is a distributor. Okay, so this is the intake manifold and fuel meter diagram. Okay, so what exactly it means? Uh, it powers the power produced the engine depends upon the fuel being present into the correct positions, and here the air combines with fuel in the fuel metering device, and this device automatically divides fuel in the correct amount and determined by the airflow. Okay, so if you see the ignition system in gasoline engine, the spark plug, high voltage circuit and distribution plays important role, and the spark plug generation plays the important role. So what exact the ignition system means? To produce the power, the gasoline engine must not have only the correct mixture of fuel and air, but also some means of ignition composition of the mixture here. It's not been depend with the mixture of fuel and air to make uh, balance. So essentially, the practical means is with electric sparks produced across the gap between the pairs of electrodes or a spark plug, and the electric arc or a spark plug provides sufficient energy to cause composition. And this phenomena we called as ignition system. And the system which is going to follows uh, the correction mixture of fuel and air along with the sufficient energy to be cause a composition, and the essential to maintain the gap between the pair of electrodes in order to control the system with respect to ignition. We call it as ignition systems here. Okay, so if you try to go with uh, the spark plug, this is the diagram of spark plug that having some one internal terminal got a stock terminal and some insulator inside, then upper sealing gasket, shell, power sealing gasket, center electrode, ground electrode. This is the overview structure of a spark where it's going to create one spark. It's acting as input to start the engine in the form of heat energy. Okay, heat to electric energy. See, the spark is going to produce by applying high voltage pulse from 20 kilowatt to 40 kilowatt between center electrode to ground. The actual voltage required to start arc is the size of gap and the compression ratio and air fill ratio. So it's been depend upon the three parameter. One is the size of the gap and the compression ratio and air fuel. And the spark plug consists of pair of electrodes called center and ground electrodes separated by the gap. Okay, so this one is separated by the gap here. Okay, so this is a high voltage circuit and distribution. See, for whenever a spark is producing some heat in the form of tiny spark. So in order to make it to higher boost, the high voltage circuit and distribution plays important role. It is one panel acting as a major part in any engine. See, auto spark is going to be exhaust here, and some of the transformer is going to apply from transforming the current from the primary to secondary windings, where is going to be acting input to form some control with respect to brakes and some powerful circuits. Okay, and are to be storing some charge over this. Okay, so this is a rotary. Is once it starts rotating, the spark is going to be ignition producing every bits of second. So the ignition coil is going acting as on transformer, so that what all the rotation has been held with input uh, by producing the tiny heat towards the primary. The same is going to be transferred to secondary there. Okay, so it means what or else external battery is going to put any heat to the primary. Again, is going to act as the same for a backup, and the same is going to be controlled and is going to produce to the secondary. Then it is acting as input to the